This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. Namaskar. The news snippets. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled 3 new technological interventions for giving a boost to the dairy sector. Prime Minister also launched the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, the flagship scheme for development of fisheries sector with an estimated investment of 20,050 crore rupees under Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister Modi had a telephonic discussion with Saudi Arabian King Salman bin Abdulaziz. The two leaders discussed the COVID-19 situation. Prime Minister hailed the Saudi King's initiatives as chair of the G20 for coordinated action during the pandemic. The Rafale fighter jets have been formally inducted into the Indian Air Force. All religion prayers were held before the formal induction at a ceremony at the Ambala Air Force Base. A flypast by IAF aircraft also took place. French Defence Minister Florence Parly and Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh were the guests of honour at the induction ceremony of the Rafale jets. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla represented India at the first India-France-Australia trilateral dialogue on Indo-Pacific. The objective is to build on the strong bilateral relations that the three countries share and also synergizing their respective strengths to ensure a peaceful, secure, prosperous and rules-based Indo-Pacific region. The Council of Foreign Ministers meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is taking place in Moscow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held discussions with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines of the meet. 34,71,783 people have recovered from COVID-19 in India. In the last 24 hours, 72,939 people have recovered. The recovery rate is 77.74%. 11,29,756 tests were conducted in the country during the past 24 hours for COVID-19. UK has reimposed strict restrictions following a sudden surge in COVID-19 cases in the country. A fire devastated Europe's biggest migrant camp in the Lesbos Islands, Greece. And that is the end of the news snippets.
We present the intriguing game of numbers, the mystery of number calculation solved in seconds. So be ready with your pen and paper and let your mind explore the world of numbers.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Playing with numbers.
Playing with numbers for the maths lovers and developers. To learn the solution in a few seconds, special types and lengthy questions under the guidance of teacher's teacher, maths wizard Ashok Kumar Roy.
In this episode, today, we will find out the value of 105 square. For it, we will make 2 boxes from left to right. In the first box, we will write 105 plus 5, which will be in 3 digits 110. That is 105 plus 5 will be 110. So in the first box we have 110. Now from left side in the second box or from right side in the first box we will write 5 square. Always keep in mind that 5 is very important for 105 square. Here 5 is at units place.
Now it's turn to find out the value of 105 square. For it, in the first step, we will calculate 105 plus 5, which will be 110 for the first box from left, and in the second step, for the right box, we will keep in our mind the value of 5 square in 2 digits. That is 25.
So in the second box from left side or from the right side in the first box, we have 5 square, which is equal to 25. So from left side, we will write 110, which is in the first box, and 25, which is in the right box. So for the final answer of 105 whole square, we will write 11025, which is equal to 105 square. So final answer of 105 square is 11025.
Finally, we will put both the 3-digit numbers 110 and assume 2-digit number 25 in both boxes from left to right respectively to get the value of 105 square. Thus, as a result, we have the value of 105 square as 11025. This program was conceptualized and produced by Monica Gulati, assisted in production by Divya Nambishan and narrated by Lucy Gabriel.
You are tuned to the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. We now bring you the commentary. India-Iran ties set to deepen. It's scripted by Dr. Asif Shuja, Senior Research Fellow, the Middle East Institute, National University of Singapore. The back-to-back visits by two senior Indian cabinet ministers to Iran within a week are geared towards cementing the India-Iran bilateral ties. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh made a stopover visit to Iran last Sunday while returning from Russia, where he had gone to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defence Ministers meeting. In Tehran, Mr. Singh met with his Iranian counterpart, Brigadier General Amir Hatami, and discussed issues of mutual cooperation as well as regional security. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar also made a stopover visit to Tehran on his way to Moscow to attend the Foreign Ministers meeting of the SCO. During the stopover, Dr. Jaishankar held a productive meeting with his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javed Zarif. The two sides also discussed on strengthening bilateral cooperation. The two ministers also reviewed regional developments during the meeting. It may be noted that Dr. Jaishankar had last visited Tehran in December 2019 to attend the 19th India-Iran Joint Commission meeting, while the Iranian Foreign Minister Dr. Javed Zarif had visited India in January this year to attend the Raisina Dialogue 2020. Notably, this was the Indian External Affairs Minister's first visit abroad after the restrictions in travels were imposed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It shows the importance given by both India and Iran in terms of the bilateral ties, especially at a time when the United States has been waging a maximum pressure campaign against Iran, constricting the scope of Tehran's political and economic cooperation with other countries. The two visits also came at a time when Iran and China are understood to be finalizing their long-term bilateral cooperation. It has been widely reported that Beijing and Tehran are forging a 25-year bilateral strategic cooperation under the rubric of China's Belt and Road Initiative (BRI), promising huge amounts of Chinese investments in Iran. The timing of the visits of two senior Indian ministers also coincides with the expected intra-Afghan dialogue towards stabilizing Afghanistan. The two foreign ministers are understood to have discussed the issue as well, apart from other regional and bilateral issues of mutual concern. Furthermore, these visits happened soon after the failed attempt by the United States to extend the arms embargo on Iran, which is due to expire on October 31st. India and Iran have a civilizational relationship which has been intensely nourished in the recent years, fructifying or progressing in the joint infrastructural projects such as the Chabahar port and the Chabahar-Zahedan railway line projects. India and Iran are also currently involved proactively towards increasing the usage of Chabahar port. It should be noted that only last month the Indian ambassador to Iran was invited by the Deputy Minister and Head of Iranian Railways, Saeed Rasooli, for reviewing cooperation between the two countries on the Chabahar-Zahedan railway line. The current bilateral trade between India and Iran has been negatively affected because of the economic sanctions imposed on Iran by the United States. India and Iran are committed to further deepen their bilateral trade relationship despite the prevalent constraints. For India, Iran remains an important extended neighborhood outreach country with great potential in terms of bilateral trade and is strategically important for India's access to Afghanistan and Central Asia. Similarly, India serves as a potential big market for Iranian products and has been traditionally a major destination of Iranian crude. Due to the present geopolitics of the Middle East and great power rivalries between the United States, Russia and China to have a greater sway in the region, Iran's relationship with the outside world has got negatively affected. The constraints were further augmented because of the long-standing COVID-19 pandemic that has had a global impact. The fact that the two senior ministerial visits from New Delhi to Tehran have occurred immediately after the easing of pandemic-related travel restrictions shows the importance that India attaches to its ties with Iran. It will be instrumental in further deepening India-Iran bilateral ties. That was today's commentary, Iran-India ties set to deepen. It was scripted by Dr. Asif Shuja, Senior Research Fellow, the Middle East Institute, National University of Singapore. It was read by Kaushik Rai. This broadcast came to you from the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.
Hello and welcome to Folk Tales from India. And continuing with our series of Panchatantra tales, we begin with this folk tale titled The Hare and the Hound. One day a hound scared a hare out of its burrow and chased it for a long distance. The hare, thanks to its speed and agility, soon went far out of the reach of the dog. The dog stopped trailing and turned to go back. A man passing by witnessed the whole incident. He laughed at the bulky hound and mocked him, saying, "You lazy laggard! You could not even catch a tiny, weak little hare. Shame on you! What else is your speed meant for then?" The hound turned towards the man and replied, "You are getting it wrong, my friend. I was only chasing it for a delicious dinner, but the hare was running for its life." The next Panchatantra tale is titled The Herdsman. A herdsman found one of his calves missing and went searching for it at once. As he looked for it everywhere, he prayed to the deities of the forest and vowed to sacrifice a lamb if he found the calf. Suddenly, as he approached the cliff, he saw a lion eating the little creature he was looking for. It struck the herdsman that the beast might catch him as well, and he started running for his life. He was so scared that as he ran, he once again started praying to the gods. This time he promised he would sacrifice a bull if they saved him from the lion. The gods, as usual, remained silent. The moral: if all such rash vows were to be granted, most men would be ruined by their own words. The next folktale is titled The Nurse and the Wolf. A hungry wolf was passing by a hut when he heard a nurse scolding a crying baby. "Come on, baby, that's enough. If you don't stop crying now, I will put you outside the house and the wolf will come and take you away." The hungry wolf thought this was the easiest way to get food. If the child did not stop crying, he would be the gainer and get to eat his tender flesh. So he sat there and waited till it was dusk. He heard the nurse speaking once more, but this time she said, "Oh, sweet baby, If the naughty wolf comes near you, I will beat him to death." The wolf was shocked. He realized that human beings should never be trusted, as they were never serious about their own words and made false promises. But he was scared too and ran away as fast as he could. The fourth Panchatantra story is titled The Pearl String. A queen asked her maid to keep her pearl necklace safe with her while she went for a bath in the river. But the maid fell fast asleep, and a monkey, seeing the necklace lying beside her, ran away with it. The maid woke up and found the pearls missing. She immediately raised an alarm and informed the intelligent chief guard. He guessed it must be the work of a monkey and thought of a trick to catch it. He brought several strings of glass beads and hung them on the bushes all around. All the monkeys except the culprit started picking up the pretty strings and dancing around in joy. Then the rogue monkey came down and declared proudly, "You have strings of glass beads, but I have one of pearls." The chief guard, who was waiting for this moment, caught the monkey and got him to give back the pearl string. The moral: boasting can often lead us to ruin. And now a folktale titled The Woodcutter and the Trees. A poor woodcutter knelt down beneath the tallest tree and prayed for a new handle for his saw. He kept on praying and pleading till the trees took pity on him. The chief of the trees declared that the ash tree was best suited for the woodcutter's purpose and asked it to speak to him. The woodcutter followed the ash tree's instructions and made a new handle out of its wood that fitted perfectly with his axe. The woodcutter was thrilled and thought this was an opportunity to make money by gathering more wood for such articles of use. He immediately started chopping at the trees around him. The chief of the trees realized his mistake and said, "O poor ash tree, I sacrificed you for the sake of this selfish man, and now we are on the verge of extinction." The moral: the rich harm the poor but end up as losers. And now a Panchatantra tale titled The Lion and the Fox. A lion, a fox, and an ass went out for hunting. As they roamed the forest, they came across a big stag. Together they gave it a chase, killed it, and then decided to divide the meal. The ass came forward and divided the heap of flesh into 3 portions. The lion, however, was furious as he wanted the biggest share. He pounced on the ass and killed him instantly. Then the lion asked the fox to divide the meat. The fox was wise. He gathered every piece in a heap, separated a tiny amount from it, and set it aside for himself. The lion, quite amused, asked him, "Who taught you this art of division?" The fox wittily replied, "Sir, the ass's fate." The moral: it is better to learn from the mistakes of others than from your own. The 7th folktale is titled The Nymph and the Ascetic. The Bodhisattva was born into a rich family. When he grew up, he renounced all worldly pleasures and became an ascetic. One morning, when he was meditating near a river, a water nymph caught sight of him and fell in love. "A handsome man like him doesn't deserve to lead a life of hardship," the nymph said to herself. She started singing a beautiful song, hoping to attract the Bodhisattva's attention. But the Bodhisattva continued to sit still with his eyes closed. Surprised, the nymph went up to him and said, "O my lord, why not keep your meditations for your old age? Right now you are too young for such hardship." The ascetic opened his eyes, smiled and said, "My dear good lady, I do not know whether I will live that long." The nymph realized that she would never be able to win him over and vanished forever. And finally, a folk tale titled The Milkmaid. There once lived a milkmaid in a village. She used to daydream about becoming a rich lady one day. Once, when she was going to sell milk to the market with a pail on her head, she began to daydream again. I will sell the milk at a good price today, she thought, very pleased with herself. And then with that money, I will buy some nice hens, she continued dreaming. The hens will lay eggs every day. Then I will sell milk and eggs every day, and then more milk and more eggs, for I will keep buying new cows and hens for my farm. All this while, the milkmaid was paying no attention to where she was going. I will make a lot of money soon. Then I will buy beautiful new dresses and everyone will praise my beauty. But I will just toss my head and take no notice of them. And saying so, she tossed her head and the milk pail fell down, spilling all the milk on the ground. Because of her dreaming, the milkmaid was now left with nothing to sell in reality. You were listening to Folk Tales from India, in which you heard Panchatantra tales.